Prepare yourself.
Okay, let's go.
Where common sense fails. Again. The Extra Show. With your hosts, Chris and Steve.
Yes. What do you reckon to the new jingle?
I love it. I you know what? It's all moving at quite a fast pace and I'm enjoying it.
Good. Well, listeners, this is officially now the extras part of the Common Sense Failure show. So the main bit that I do with my buddy Drew, this is like the I want to say the after dark, the sort of, things that can't be said in the other one, or but it's the extra show.
100%.
So I'm here again with Steve. We are now on our third recording.
We are. This is the ball is rolling. For sure.
And we're trying out some new gear today. People, we've got some kind of like soundproof. We're in little booths.
Yeah, absolutely. These new gadgets that you're bringing in are really, really impressive, and hopefully it'll make a difference to the quality, because we are trying to eke out all in 1% to try and be the best we can.
We are. So we're just trying to make sure that the quality of what we record is good for you as the listeners. Now, we might be a little bit picky, Steve and I, because we sit here, we have our headphones on, we can hear every little nook and cranny and gnat's fart that goes on, and I'm sure to the general public you might not be that fussed about it, but we are. And I think the fact that we care, we want to make sure it sounds good, or the best it can.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. So anyway, listeners, it's going to be, I think, quite a good show today, because we've got some new stuff coming on. We're going to talk about some common sense failures, and do you know what? I've got two that happened to me last week, and the one that everyone's talking about is, which I think is a common sense failure, but we'll come on to that in a second. But in general, I've had a good week. I've got some new ideas for a new podcast, which I've been talking to Steve about, and hopefully we'll have that launched in a couple of weeks or so. But Steve, anything to add? Anything exciting going on in the last week?
Other than delivering Premiere Pro workshops to students for a business, last week kind of ran away with me a little bit, but we have them weeks. But we
Hang on, another string to your bow. You also do training on Premiere Pro.
We do, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so, we film podcasts, but we also teach people how to edit podcasts.
Okay,
and we teach people how to edit content in Premiere Pro. Yeah, and I'm on the cusp of becoming a Premiere Pro certified instructor.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I need to put a little sound check in there. That kind of. We need to have a round of applause to that one. Well done, Steve.
It's one of them things where, the things that we use to get to the 1% are not plug and play to the general public, especially in businesses. And we live in a era now where the scale of content that's coming out, whether it is audio or whether it's video or YouTube or Instagram, TikTok, whatever, the content that's coming out at scale.
Well, so I don't know if you read in the news a couple of days ago, the late night show in America, they're canning.
Yeah.
Right?
Is it Stephen Colbert?
Yeah. So in 12 months' time, it's going to end. And one of the reasons is, well, first off, it's funding. They get 2.5 million viewers a night. But what I didn't realize is they've got to fill 4 nights of content, apparently. Right? They film 4 nights a week. And they're just basically saying that what with people watching YouTube and wanting that kind of instant hit, right? They're just saying that the sort of landscape's changed. So that old style of doing things in the 80s, 90s, just isn't working anymore. Yeah. So hey, it could be something there, Steve, that people...
As you know, Chris, I'm quite bullish about long form content.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a place for this. And I think over the next 10, 12, 15 years, we may see the big sort of traditional corporations, the ABCs, CNNs, BBC, ITV, Channel 4, companies like nature turn into alternate streaming platforms, because the traditional television model, in my eyes, is, if it's not outdated yet, it will quickly become outdated.
Well, there's a lot of talk at the moment about the BBC and the license fee.
Yes, there is, yeah.
Right, and people saying, I don't want to pay for it because I don't like the quality and this and that. But the thing is, they're all saying, the BBC's got to change.
Yeah. So I think whatever side of the political spectrum you end up on, back in the day, let's say, people would watch the BBC for impartial news. Mm-hmm. Now, I actually seen this subject. 300,000 approximate households have not renewed the TV license for the BBC. 300,000.
Wow.
That is crazy, right? Because it's viewed, whatever way you look at it, as partisan, maybe. That's not me giving any political opinion. But because of that, people are switching off and turning to. I mean, you look at Talk TV, you look at big YouTube channel, that political news platforms, they are growing.
I think there's a couple of things there for me, because I think we spoke about this. I used to trust the BBC News implicitly. They were world leaders. I think they've lost their way now, and I think they're now just becoming a bit more politicalized, and it's not as independent as it used to be.
Is that a common sense failure?
Well, that could be, right? Because you look at Joe Rogan,
yeah,
right, and look at what Trump did. Like him or loathe him, Trump went and used him, and look what happened over in the States.
100%.
Whereas Camilla refused.
Yeah,
didn't think it was the thing to do. Yes, and what was especially with Labour now announcing they want 16, 17-year-olds to have the power to vote. How are they going to be consumed? They're going to not sit down and listen to a party political broadcast or the BBC. Yeah. They're going to be on Insta. They're going to be on TikTok. And
you're looking at, I mean, if you're a TV producer, you're looking at it going, we're getting 2.5 million views, nice, but we can put a video on YouTube and get 12 million views.
Yeah. Well, and again, what was really interesting, my better half has a Monday off from work, and we were just sitting down having some lunch, and we had the telly on, and Bargain Hunt was on, right? And we're sitting there, and she said to me, she goes, do you know what? What a cheap program that's got to be to make, right? And I looked at her and I went, are you kidding me? She said, well, they give them £300 each. And in today's episode, they both made one made £190 and the other one made £110. So they didn't even lose money on the money they gave them to buy their antiques. And I'm looking at it and going, right, okay. Should we just look at the credits, right? Work out how many people are involved in putting that half-hour program together, right? And there were 50 people.
Yep.
50 people to put a half-hour show together. So that must have cost, 150, 200,000 probably?
Easily. That's potentially just in salary.
Yeah, just in salaries. Not including all the sort of expenses and everything else. And so when you look at it like that, right? And then you look at people with their devices they've got, their phones and everything else, it doesn't cost that much to put something together. And I think the content that I'm seeing on YouTube, I think is getting better.
100%. I mean, if you're someone like, who's a popular sort of journalist, someone like a Piers Morgan or someone like a Tucker Carlson in America, they are turning to alternate social media platforms because it's just cost effective, right? Like if you can, I mean, and this is what we could possibly get into this. I think AI, this is where AI is going to become really powerful. Because you take a team of 50 producing bargain hunts, that same program might get produced by 3 people.
Yeah,
with the power of AI.
Yeah, absolutely. And so this whole model, right, of because the other thing that we were talking about today was the cost, especially in the UK, everybody, the cost of things in the UK, just in general, is I feel we're being ripped off, right? Because salaries are so high, right? And because salaries are high, we therefore pay for everything else that's up. And before you know it, it's costing an absolute arm and a leg. Mortgages are up, food's up, everything. I don't want to sound like I'm having a bit of a whinge, but so naturally, TV programs cost a fortune. So people are going to look for alternative ways to produce these things.
But if you're paying a TV license fee, but you can turn YouTube on for free. It's,
Well, so because the thing is,
I mean, I'm using YouTube as an example.
Yeah.
But realistically, the reason why I use YouTube as an example as well, and I find this really interesting, is because that's the only social media platform that you actually have to click on a video to watch it.
Okay.
So you actively choose to watch that video.
Yeah.
Rather than you being served up by an algorithm.
Oh, I don't know. Because if I watch to the end of a video, it presents me with another one.
Of a similar topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it does do a little bit of pushing to.
Yeah. I think it's.
I get what you're saying.
I mean, Gary Vaynerchuk talks about this. It shouldn't be called social media anymore. It should be called interest-based media because you're basically getting served up what you're interested in.
Yeah.
So if I watch a load of audio repair content, I'm going to get served up more of that. If I watch a load of how to make a podcast style content, I'm going to get served up more of that.
But I guess the problem we've got with social media and people doing all that is making sure that people aren't producing stuff they shouldn't be doing, right? You know, and also, you know, in terms of the quality control and the, you know, there's watershed moments, all that kind of stuff. That's the only trouble we have at the moment with things like people producing social media stuff.
It's the vastness of it as well. Like, I totally agree. The vastness of it as well. It's like the volume of content that's getting produced at scale every day. I think the stat, and obviously it's increasing every day. I think the stat as of like June this year, it was like if you watch YouTube, every bit of content on YouTube, it'll take you something like 20 million years.
Wow.
Like it was like insane. The amount of content that's getting produced is like, you do these comparisons. Like if you like, there's more chance of getting struck by lightning 5 times than winning the lottery. Yeah. There's more chance of living 6 lifetimes than watching every moment of YouTube. It's crazy.
But but the other thing, again, go back on the cost thing, is everything is now streamed, right? And you know, you look at so again, I'm doing rough figures here, but over in the UK, we've got the BBC license fee, which is about £170 a year, right? So you've got to pay that no matter what, right? Even if you don't watch the BBC, they claim, you know, if you consume live TV, you've got to pay for a license. You've then got things like Discovery Plus, you've got Netflix, you've got Apple Plus. These are all streaming services, you know, and I think, you know, if you were to take all of those, God knows how much Sky's 50, 60 quid, you know, for
I think at one
package.
point, I've actually had this problem myself in our house. I think at one point I was paying around £270 just in subscription fees. So I think I pay for Sky, I pay for Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus for kids, Apple TV. At the end, at a point, I just had to turn around and just list it all out and say, right, what can go? Because I'm not paying £270.
No, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
£3,000 a year to watch TV.
I know. And I barely watch TV as it is. So, and what I found my consumption habits. It's called, the technical name for it is connected TV.
Right.
So connected TV is, can you watch things like streaming services? So BT Sport, The Zone, Disney Plus, Netflix. It's all streamed, right? YouTube, you can watch that on your TV now. Is it Haku? Hulu? Hulu, yeah. All Discovery Plus, Paramount.
Yeah.
All these companies are buying for attention, right? Yeah. And we live in that attention economy now, so that's expensive. And to be a competitive marketplace, actually, they need to be competitive. So people subscribe to it, right? And you know, I definitely know people who are paying for all of them.
It's just ridiculous. I really do think it's ridiculous. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do like the stuff that's out there, but yeah, I'm not going to spend $8.99 a month because I like one TV program. Yeah, because that's the other thing. Is how much can you actually consume? I know Sky used to sit there and go, do you know what? We're going to put the price of your channels up, but we're going to give you 400 channels. You're like, I cannot watch 400 channels.
I did watch Slow Horses with Gary Oldman.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
That is brilliant.
Yeah.
New series coming out.
Yeah, brilliant.
So I got Apple TV Plus just for that. Not anything else on it, but I got it just for that.
Yeah.
So there's me, the sucker. I'm falling for it. So could be a common sense failure. But anyway, on common sense failures.
It's that time of the show where common sense fails.
Yes.
So I have got, everybody, 3 examples of common sense failures I need to chat and get off my chest. 2 involve me directly, and 1 is just a general one. So I'm going to start off with a simple one. But I got it in the neck here, right? And I'm looking for your opinion on this, Steve, right? Because you could say, well, that's just stupidity. But my better half, her son, is currently over in America doing a Camp America.
Nice.
And it's his birthday at the end of this month. So she's and he's not coming back till September. So she's got him a card, and she's written out this card, and he left it on the kitchen table. She goes to work every day, and she left it and with a note saying, "Can you please post this for me?" So I come downstairs and there it is, labelled up, and it's got a stamp on it. Right, it's got first class stamp. So I just go, oh, okay, it's got a stamp on it. She just wants it posting. Didn't really read the address, right? So I just went to the post office, well, to a post box, and put it in. And she rang me about 4 o'clock, right? And I'm sitting down, and she goes, oh, how much extra did you have to pay on the postage? And I went, what do you mean extra? But it had a stamp on it. She went, did you not read where it was going to? Where was it going to? She's going to America. I said, well, why did you put a stamp on it? I said, I would have gone into the post office and said, can you please post this and let me know what the postage is? She said, well, any normal person would have done that. so I argued and said, well, no, actually, no. Whoa. When I get a letter which already has a stamp on it and someone says post it, I'm just going to post it.
Yeah.
Right? So is that an argument for saying, is that a common sense failure?
Probably is, to be fair. Probably is, to be fair. Because, like, it's the book Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, where men are logical, women are emotional. And logically, you would think just needs to go in the post.
Yeah.
And I, in all honesty, I probably would have done the same thing.
What if it's got a stamp on? I said, don't put a stamp on it.
Yeah.
And then I would have paid what the going rate was.
Yeah.
And as it happened, I got it in the neck. You cost me the cost of a card, so you had to go out and buy another one. And this time there was no stamp on it. So when I took it to the post office, and it cost me £3.20.
Yeah.
Right. So that was number one last week. Right. So yeah, you talk to a woman and they say I'm an idiot. Talk to guys and they go, well, I didn't say. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Now the second one is funny, but quite scary as well in one respect. Right. So I'm a type 2 diabetic, and I was sent to a little community hospital near where I live, Wales, because they want to. I've been a type 2 diabetic now since 2002, so quite a number of years. To look at me, I'd like to think I'm doing okay. I kind of look okay, and this is what the surprise is. When people see me, they go, but I am. I've got things that are wrong with me that you can't physically see, I guess. So. And one of my issues is I can never keep my blood sugars in range. Yeah. Always too high. So they said to me, we'll put you on insulin. All right. So we're going to send you to this doctor who specializes in it. He's going to talk to you about it and talk to you about putting you on insulin. All right. And that'll keep your blood sugars under control. So off I go. Holywell Community Hospital. I don't mind saying that. So there I was. I went there. And first thing is, right, you go into these places. And, you're getting old, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, am I in the right place? Because everyone else was 20 years older than me, right? Old, infirm. And I'm thinking, what am I doing here, right? But they had a special surgery. They had a special kind of really old people surgery, right? I'm not being ageist here, everybody, but it was just, when you go into someone, you think, wow, I guess I'm not 18 anymore, right? Anyway, so I'm sitting there. And then before you go in to see the doctor, they now do this check where they weigh you and they get your blood pressure. So I had that done, and I'm waiting to be seen by the doctor. And I go in, and the doctor sits me down. And he goes, right. He says, he's looking at me. He's just chatting about how I've been a diabetic and this, that, and the other. So then he goes, oh right, well we've got your weight, and he says, it's 88 kilos. Right now I'm going, okay, doc, I should be a few kilos lighter. I should be about 82, if about 80, 82. So I'm a few kilos over, right? But not massively, I don't think, right? And he went, okay, how tall are you? And I went, I'm 5'11". So he went, what's that in centimeters? I went, I don't know. I think it's about 170 odd, I think. He went, hang on. So he gets his computer and he types in his conversion thing, right? From 5'11" to centimeters. He went, it's actually 155 centimeters, right? And I look at him and I went, gosh, I says, maybe I've been over-exaggerating my height. And I couldn't check it on my phone because there was no mobile phone signal there. So I took his word for it, right? And he went, he says, so he taps it into his little computer. He goes, your BMI is 36, right? Now, to look at me, right, I'd like to think you go, no, Chris, there's no way you have a BMI of 36. Only 8 years ago, my BMI was 18. I was underweight.
Nice.
right? So I'm sitting there and I looked at it and I went, 36. Wow. Anyway, well, you hide it well because of your height. So I went, okay. And I look at me, honestly, guys, to look at me, I don't think I'm overweight. Do I look overweight, Steve?
No,
Right.
definitely not.
I've got little tiny skinny wrists and everything else, and little tiny skinny legs, and maybe carrying a few extra pounds in the middle. But anyway, so I'm taking all this in. He went, actually, he says, before we put you on insulin, have you heard of Manjaro?
I have heard of Manjaro.
And he says to me, I might put you on Manjaro. Right. So I said to him, look, Manjaro was for like really overweight people. Right. And he looked at me and he went, well, your BMI is 36. He says, 40 and you're seriously overweight. So we don't want you to get to that. So I went, oh, okay. And then he looks into it. And because I've got kidney problems, he was like, oh, do you know what? Let's not. I'll tell you what, I won't do that. He says, just yet. He said, I'll consult with someone on that, but I'll prescribe you some insulin and I'll refer you to a dietitian, right? But yeah, we do need to get your weight down, right? Because BMI 36 is just too much. Anyway, I then spent about an hour driving home thinking, oh my God, I knew I'd put on a few better pounds, but Jesus, I didn't realize it was that bad.
See, I don't know. I'm not a medical professional.
Well, no, but you're a keep fit guy. But hang on. So having spent an hour driving and thinking about this, thinking that can't be right. So when I got to a mobile signal, I pulled over and I went, "What is 155 centimeters in feet and inches? What do you think it is?"
Well, 181 is 5'11", because no, that's my height. So I'd say 5'2".
5'1". Yes.
5'1".
So he sat there and he's worked out my BMI based on me being 5'1". So he sat there and he's gone, you've got a BMI of 36.
So he's actually done a maths wrong.
So when I think about it now, when you go into your conversion tool, he's obviously put 5'1". Sorry, instead of 5'11", he's missed off a 1 and typed in 5'1" in centimeters, and it's come back in 155.
Yeah.
And so he said, so I had to send him a note to the hospital to say, can you please check he's not put my notes out like this because I'm super short. And so I'm not surprised. So to me, that is a common sense failure.
For sure.
So I'm telling my other half this, who's in the medical. She works at Clatterbridge and Arrow Park. She was like, well, he should have done you're obviously not 5'1", right? So he hasn't really done his due diligence and this, that, and the other. I said, well, he's just had a bad day. Right? It was 3:30, 4 o'clock. He's probably wanted to get home. So I thought that was rather funny. But the big common sense failure, everybody, and if anybody hasn't heard of this, right, by now, well, you must have been living under a rock. But it's the cold.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, I saw this first on Thursday, I think. And for those that haven't seen it, Coldplay were doing a gig over in New York, I think it was, over in America. And there's a part of the show where they interact with the crowd and they get the camera and they put the people on the big screen. Yeah. And he actually writes, he does like a little jitty, doesn't he?
I think it's called the kiss cam.
The kiss cam, that was it. So he's going around and he's seen a few people, and then he cuts to this couple. This guy standing behind a woman. He's got his arms around her. She's got her arms on him, and it cuts to him. And Chris Martin's going, "Oh, what about these two?" And they see it, and then they duck, and he tries to hide, and the woman turns to the back, and Chris Martin actually said, "Oh," he says, "You're either having an affair or you're very camera shy." Well, the whole internet explodes.
Yes,
because they are actually having an affair. This is the CEO of Astromina or someone.
Yeah, Astromina.
And the HR director.
I know.
Right? And it's like, you are kidding me. So anyway, things work fast on the internet. So this was on Thursday. He then got suspended from work. He's now resigned. I don't know if she's resigned. His wife's fighting for divorce. Yeah. But come on, everybody. You go into a concert like that. I mean, I saw a statement come out. I don't know if it's true or not, where he tried to blame Coldplay for saying, that was a private moment and you made it public.
I think that's a common sense failure in itself, that you get caught out at a Coldplay concert having an affair on your wife. and then you sue the band for exposing it, and they don't know you're from Adam.
I know. Oh, so anybody it, honestly, it's funny, but it's also a little bit kind of you're ruining a few people's lives, but they shouldn't be doing it, right?
No, absolutely.
But the point is, what a common sense failure. You do not go to a public event like that. I mean, the thing that got me there was he kind of got warned.
Yeah.
Because Chris Martin said, well, we're going to go around and show you. So they could have, the risk was they could have, you'd have thought at that moment,
100%.
Let's not be standing next to each
other. Look at it from like the family point of view as well. Like his wife, who's a very attractive woman. I've seen her on.
Oh, I've not seen a picture.
Yeah, I've seen a picture online. She's a very attractive woman.
Yeah.
She was with him when they started out. He's now a very wealthy guy.
Oh.
He's a CEO of a big company. And I'd actually heard of the company before, but I presume the astronomer,
that rocket scientist.
Rocket science, yeah. And she helped him. She like nurtured the kids. She helped him get into his position. She was part of the journey to get him to that place. And obviously.
But he's not been an astronomer, the CEO, for long. He's only been there like 2 years.
I don't really know how you would actually take it if something went that viral, because do you start laughing at all the memes and stuff that are coming out?
All the memes are hilarious.
They're hilarious.
But what do you do? Yeah, I mean, you've created that, right?
Yeah. Do you laugh along with it? If you're the wife, do you make a joke out of it? Is it obviously the marriage is over and it's heartbreaking, but
I suppose from his perspective, I've heard rumors he's a billionaire or he's a very wealthy man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's gone, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, he'll still be a wealthy man.
Yeah.
But half of that is going to go.
And any potential the opportunity cost of that is going to be.
Yeah. And you know what? Does he go into the, just keep his head low? Because any job he goes to for now, be like, oh yeah, you're the guy who. So, for the next 6 months, he's probably going to be like, well, I can't do anything.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would laugh at it, right? Because I'd just sit there and go, do you know what? But you've ruined a few people's lives there.
Yeah,
so you've got that cost. You can't just laugh and not.
I always think about the kids.
Yeah.
I always think, because I've got young kids, I always think about, I don't know, it's a massive common sense failure. Massive common sense. If you know that there's a risk of you getting exposed on a big screen, you obviously just don't get on the screen.
I know. Don't
get out of Dodge. Just get out.
Dodge it. Do not do it. Oh, so there were my 3 common sense failures. Have you got any?
Do you know what? I was actually thinking about the one that you brought up last week about the Costa sleeves, the cup sleeves.
Oh yeah.
I went into Costa,
right?
And I went into so when I was doing the pro training, in Liverpool last week, I went into Costa in the morning, got a coffee. Not only did they not have the sleeves, but they don't have a single cup holder. So the minimum cup holder that you can get is 2.
Right.
So you have to buy 2 coffees to fill the cup holder.
Yeah.
You can't literally get one.
Okay.
Like a single cup holder.
Yeah.
So I thought that was like an extension of the common sense failure.
Yeah.
And then at lunchtime we went into Bean Coffee in St. Paul Square. Great little place, by the way.
Right.
They did have the sleeves, and it was just made such a difference. And when it comes to them sleeves, I think you're missing out on a real branding opportunity.
Yeah.
Actually. And then it got me thinking.
Well, when did they ever stop? Because was it because I was thinking about this after I'd mentioned it, and I thought, I don't see them anywhere now.
No.
I thought they all just gone out of fashion.
I don't know this for sure. It's my assumption that the financial director are cutting costs on items that are unnecessary. So I mean, so to me, that would be, if I owned a coffee shop, that would be a necessity.
Yeah.
To give to people, because I think it adds a little bit of value to the actual coffee as well. But in the sense of, I thought that was an extension of the common sense failure. And then it got me watching some Simon Squibb videos, and he actually made his money in beer mats.
Yeah.
He would put companies' branding on placemats for beers to go on.
Yeah.
And the reason why he got that is because he was in a pub one day having a beer with one of his buddies, and he was putting his beer down on a beer mat, and he was thinking, I could put logos on the beer mats. He'd done a deal with United Airlines, he got the money up front, you got half the money up front for these beer mats. Use that money to produce 5 million beer mats or whatever.
Yeah.
Sold them to United Airlines back. Got the other half on delivery, and obviously made his money that way. And with the coffee sleeves, the coffee cup sleeves, I think that there's just generally a massive opportunity there for companies to brand themselves.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you've seen my business cards, but there's a company called Moo, and they do square business cards, and you can put if let's say you ordered 100 business cards, you can have 100 different designs on the backs and your name on the other side, and they look like little beer mats. And I got them about 10 years ago and realised that people were using them like beer mats. You know, I got an initial kind of pushback from some people going, "Oh, they're funny shape. I can't put them in my wallet and everything else." But no one really reads business cards anyway. They chuck them in the drawer and they never see them.
Yeah.
Whereas what I was finding was people were picking them up and putting their glasses on them. And a bit like what you just saying there, all of a sudden I'm going, I don't mind my my logo on people's desks being used as a beer mat.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, even a coffee mat.
Yeah. So no, good idea there.
So I was thinking about that this week, and yeah, it was definitely something that it's just I feel like for businesses, I suppose this could be a common sense as well. It's a race to cut costs because we want to obviously increase our profit margins and everything. But actually, when you think about it, logically, some costs are not there to be cut because.
Well, I mean, what's the alternative? I mean, at the moment, I'm getting burnt fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know they're trying to make the at Costa and other brands are available, by the way. But I think on the actual cup itself, they've got it so that it's kind of like got a little corrugated skin, hasn't it? So, but to me, sorry, Costa, ain't working. Right?
It's not well. It's not working. I mean, where we are now in the concert room, it's probably a 5-minute walk maximum.
Yeah.
And I struggle to get the coffee in my hand from the concert room to the Costa Coffee, literally about 400 meters away.
Well, and also where we are, by the way, so we're in this place called Bromborough on the Wirral, and there's a retail part here called Croft where they've got this Costa Coffee, and they're also putting some new building some new retail outlets on it. So there's a Costa Coffee. There's 2 Costa Coffees, right? Yeah. There's now a Starbucks on top of your McDonald's and everywhere else. And it's like, again, going back to cost. Oh, so much coffee shops, right? And they're like £4.50, £5 a shot.
It's an interesting one with Costa actually, because on the Croft Retail Park, which you just mentioned, there's 4 Costas.
4?
4. So there's the one
I didn't know that.
by the McDonald's.
Yeah.
There's the one round the back with the drive-thru.
Yeah.
There's 2. There's one in the cinema.
Didn't realise.
There's one in the cinema, and then there's one in the range on the top floor. So there's 4 in total.
Jeez.
Now they've opened a Starbucks competitor, and obviously there's McDonald's where you can get coffee as well,
and a Wendy's,
and the Wendy's now. So with that, with my marketing head on, if you think a market is saturated, we have literally 7 or 8 coffee outlets within literally 20 meters of each other.
It's ridiculous. So where's the cost coming from? That's it. And on coffee, off the press here, everybody, listen out because I'm coming up with a new feature. Well, not a new feature, a new podcast. My Life in Coffee is its pilot project at the moment, and I was just thinking about it over the weekend. I want to do a show where I basically, because I spend a lot of time in coffee houses, so I thought, why don't I just create a show where I'm just kind of talking inside the coffee shop, talk to the people who own the coffee shop, talk to the people in the coffee shop, and rate the coffee shop because I go through so many of them. I thought, well, why don't I rate them? Would you reckon there's demand for people who want to know what's a good coffee shop? So I spoke to a guy, the manager of Crosby Coffee in Lark Lane. So I'm going there. I'm going to go there probably Wednesday this week, and I'm going to do my first new episode of My Life in Coffee. It's going to be audio to start with, right? It might progress. And if anybody's got any recommendations or anybody wants to get in touch with us, drop me a line, tell me to go and try it, and I'll more than happy go and try it. Or even if you've got, you're a coffee house yourself and you want me to come along and just try it, get me and Steve down and we'll come on and we might even broadcast from the shop itself.
I love all that. We can do that, yeah.
I went to a live recording on Saturday night of a guy called Gareth Jones, and he does a podcast. Been doing it for 20 years now, called Gareth Jones on Speed. And it's so Gareth Jones, for those in the 80s.
I gather he's not actually on Speed when he's doing his podcast.
No. But he used to be a roadie for The Alarm.
Nice.
Right? He then went on to be a TV presenter.
Nice.
With something called Get Fresh. Right? He was there with a stupid little green alien. You might have seen it. He then became a presenter on How. And then he's just gone on and he's still in the music business and everything else. But he was doing, for his 20th year, he was doing a live recording of Gareth Jones on Speed. So I went to listen to that, and it made me think I could do this.
100%.
And it was great. And I thought, you know what? Yeah, I can. Anyway, so that's my 100%. Next venture that we're going to try. So listen out for that. It might be good, it might not. But if you're interested, get in touch. And our contact details are, everybody.
To get in touch, leave us a WhatsApp voice note on +44 7503 061 799. That's +44 7503 061 799. Or text us on the same number.
So that's how you get in touch with us, right? And it's not just about concept failures, but, and I'm going to go into a section now because this is Steve's bit, right? And my coffee, I guess I should be talking about my coffee shop idea as the next big idea, because Steve has this feature, which is...
What's your big idea?
So Steve, come on, tell us all about it. What is the big idea all about?
So what's the big idea was born. I have a funny story, actually. So I'm a bit of a 90s film buff. I don't know if you've ever seen the film Jerry Maguire.
Yep.
Jerry Maguire, there's a scene in the film right at the start where he kind of is disillusioned being a kind of sleazy sales sports agent, and he doesn't want to operate in the same way as all the other sort of sports agents. And it's, by the way, this is one of my favourite films of all time. And he
Show me the money.
Show me the money. And he goes home one night and he kind of cracks his coffee house and sweating at his laptop all night. And he basically cracks open a Microsoft Word documents and brain dumps a whole mission statement of how he wants to operate, how he's going to change the industry. And he's very enthusiastic. And he goes into the workplace the next day and he makes this grand speech, and kind of everyone just laughs at him and kind of carries on what they're doing anyway, and has no impact whatsoever. And one person follows him, which ends up to be his girlfriend, his sort of love interest in the film.
Wasn't she
Renee Zellweger?
Yeah.
Yes.
The big pants girl or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe she went on to
Bridget Jones, yeah.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, but she's very young in the film, to be fair. She's probably only 25 in the film, something like that. Anyway, I was watching that film one night, and this was like sort of late 2024. My baby was probably 2 months old. He was kind of awake and I was awake. And I was watching the film and I decided it'd give me the inspiration to crack open my laptop and rewrite the whole mission statements. And the question that I kind of got to was, what's the common denominator of everyone I've ever worked with that's kind of been successful, and like even people who weren't successful? And it was they all had a great idea or a big idea that they wanted to accomplish. And it got me really thinking about this, and it was my belief actually that most people don't want to be in the 9 to 5. They've got this bigger idea than for themselves. And I had loads of ideas written down in the note app on my phone, and 80% of them never got actioned, or if they were going to get actioned, it was way down the sort of to-do list. And I was like, why is it? And I went down a big rabbit hole of this. Why is it that some people take action and do great ideas, and some people don't? And so literally at the top of the mission statements, I would literally put in big block capital letters, we create and share ideas. And I was like, how can I formulate a plan based on that thing. So now, when I speak to anyone or in a consultation or someone comes into the content room or podcast, I always ask the question, what's your big idea? Because everyone's got a big idea. And I don't think I've had one person say I haven't got any ideas.
Do you have to sign an NDA or something?
Well,
because is everyone going to be there and say, well, here's my big idea? And you're thinking, actually, not a bad idea. I might go and do that myself.
A lot of people actually say to me, there's some gatekeeping issues with this. So it's like, I don't really want to say what my big idea is in case someone robs it. I just believe that the world is so abundant in opportunity that no one's going to rob it anyway. And if they were going to rob a big idea, they would do it anyway. So it's like when people go on Dragon's Den and pitch their big ideas, and you might get an investor who's putting some money into your business or whatever. People love that stuff. It's like, why didn't I think of that idea? And I need to do that. No one ever really takes action on it. And a great example this week, we were at a networking event and I asked the girl that, Ellie, shout out to Ellie by the way, I said, what's your big idea? And she said, I don't really want to say in case anyone robs it. And she said, I want to make a gym for the people. I was like, what does a gym for the people look like?
I've seen this clip.
Yeah.
It was on your socials.
Yeah, it was, yeah. And when I got her talking about this idea, she's a great example. Her eyes lit up. More ideas kept coming to her. We're going to do this, we'll do this. And her big idea was to get 100 people to donate £100 to her big idea. And she would have a wall of fame with founding members who donated £100. And she would use that money to...
You're going to pick you up from home and everything else, wasn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
she was saying all this stuff and you were like, what, all for 100 quid? It's like, I'm in.
Yeah. When we put that out, interestingly, it became a real thing. It wasn't just an idea anymore. And she's had over £1,000 in £100 donations so far. So that's the kind of like impact I want What's Your Big Idea to have. That's the goal, right? So,
but is she doing anything with it though?
she's taking action on it. So she sets up so she's in a very sort of beginning stage of it. So she's set up the bank accounts, the company name, logos, everything like that. Getting the space, figuring out costs on equipment and things like that. And how the model will actually look. Because obviously it is a business at the end of the day. And it's interesting to me because how many people are sitting there with an idea that they might, it doesn't have to be a huge idea. It could be, I want to make an extra 500 quid a month just on the side. I want to work around being on maternity leave. I want to, but generally, the big idea is meant for more than what people are currently doing. Because a lot of people, I think, just get caught in the rat race life, and a lot of ideas get lost in that process.
Well, I was only talking to my other half about this because she has a big go at me sometimes because I forever got ideas and either don't follow through with them or do it as a freebie. And she's forever saying to me, "You got to charge." And I was like, I'm just going to keep trying things because there was, I think it was Gary Player, golfer, who said, I seem to get more. I seem to get luckier the more I practice. And the more I practice, the luckier I get. And I'm kind of sitting there thinking, that's kind of the same thing here, right? We're trying all these different ideas on these podcasts, and the more we do, the luckier we get.
100%.
Yeah, but saying that, I mean, I've seen and I've said this before. I've seen a lot of other people that have done hundreds of podcasts, and they're not really charting, they're not really getting in there with it. It's just something they do every week. Now, that might be great for them, but I guess you've just got to work out what is it you do.
So what do you think the secret sauce is to a great podcast?
Well, content, number one. Because if it's not good enough, you're not going to listen. But also, I think having just good outreach in socials, because I think you mentioned this as well, you actually don't need an awful lot of new listeners a week to chart. And I'm sorry, I'm a great example of that. So that top 20 that we had with our podcast, we were probably only getting about 200 people a week, or a day. So, well, what used to happen was we'd get a big influx on the day or the day after it was launched. So we'd probably get 180, 200 in a day, and then that would jump you up the charts, and then you drop off for the rest of the week, right?
Yeah.
But by the end of the week, I might have got number 14, in the Spanish charts. By the end of the week, I might have dropped down to number 48 or number 50, because you've got to keep that thing going, right? And what was happening with us was, this is what I think anyway, we were getting a lot of initial, the spike, which was we were getting those 180, 200, 300 people listening in the first 24 hours, and then it would drop off. But that was enough to put us in the top 20. So I don't think you need massive numbers. I don't know. What do you think?
There's definitely something to be said for, like, so in some circles they call it like testing pools. In others they call it like sort of just sample sizes. So basically what happens when you put a piece of content out, say a podcast, the channel that you put it out on, whether it's Spotify or YouTube or Apple Podcasts, they serve it to a very small sample size. And if it does well with that sample size, they will put it to a bigger sample size. And if it does well with that sample size, they'll put it to a bigger. The ones that go viral just get lots of different sample sizes, and it obviously goes to millions of people. But generally over time, them sample sizes do get bigger because people are more aware of it. But it'd be interesting to me to pick your brains as well of, like, how do you iterate that? So if you get say 200 listeners or viewers on the first day and then nothing else for the rest of the week, how would you iterate that to sort of maybe have a consistent 150 listeners a day?
Well, certainly for us, what I was finding was, so I think the initial listening base came from socials. So, the people I was doing it with have a great social following. And so I think we just got a lot from that. And then what happens is, I don't know, right? So I think it's a bit of, but when you then start charting, the algorithms kick in, and then you start getting on other people's lists, and there are some people that will look at the charts, and they'll go down and say, oh, I'm interested in lifestyle and leisure, for example, and they'll go down, what's in the top 20? And we were trending in there, and then it was presenting itself to others. So a little bit like YouTube, we were saying before. So I think that helped because we were getting people, like I say, in America, China, Japan, and I'm like, how are we getting these people listening to us? So because we certainly didn't have a social following in Japan, right, or China or whatever, but we were getting a good listener base from there. So I think socials is a big part of it. I don't know any other way at the moment.
Yeah, it's tough, to be fair. I would imagine that it takes a lot of testing. I would imagine that it takes a lot of testing and iteration through every episode. You've got to really sort of critically analyze every episode to kind of really pick the bones out of it and be like, right, okay, what's worked well, what's not worked well, what can we improve on, what did work well that we can improve on again.
Yeah, we didn't know paid for advertising. Right? It was all literally through socials and everything else. Yeah, I don't know whether paid advertising works. Is it effective enough? I don't know. It was just. I don't know.
I think that goes back to what you said before, Nick. Chris, got Nick on me mind because he's downstairs. I think that organic social media content is the most underrated form of marketing there is. The reason why I say that is because paid advertising becomes a lot more effective when you have an organic following to fall back on. In the sense that if you're putting out a load of organic, high-performance social media content, you can kind of pick the best stuff and run it as an ad because you know it performs well, right? And it's the same principle with podcasting. You pick the best stuff and then promote that stuff. But you might get some like average content. You might get 200 views for 4 weeks in a row, or 200 listeners for a couple of weeks in a row, and then you might get 500. Why has that got 500? And he's got 200. Why has it spiked up all of a sudden? You pick the bones out of that one and go from there. But I agree with what you said, Chris. It's all about the content. If the content is rubbish, it's dead on arrival. Yeah. If the content is great, then it'll do well.
And on that note, right, we come to the end of the show, and I just want to finish with a new feature.
Yes.
Right? This new feature, everybody, listeners, you need to help out here, listeners, because if this thing is going to run and run, then you need to give us some feedback on it. But I have come up with another, because we're both music lovers, Steve and I think there's a lot of people out there. We can't play music on this show because of performing rights and everything else, but I can get away with a second of a track, I think. So I've got this new feature, and I'm going to call it. Well, this is what I'm going to call it.
Where two become one. 2 songs, 1 common link.
So the idea behind this, Steve, is I get 2 songs from 2 different artists, and I play a second from each of those songs. It doesn't sound like a lot, right? But if you know it, you know it, right? Because there's a few out there that do something similar. And then the twist is you've got to find a link between those 2 songs, right? And I've done one now, which I'm going to play you. You know the answer because I told you beforehand, right? So I'll play it. So listeners, this is the first one. I'm actually going to give you the answer to this one, right? In a minute or so. I'll give you a little bit of time to think it yourself. But this is just to give you an idea. And then every time we record, I'm going to do one of these, and you've got a chance to message us with what you think of the answer. At the moment, you just get the street cred of knowing that you got it right or wrong. But here is the first one. And like I say, prick your ears. This is only going to be like 2 seconds, if that. That's how quick it is, right? And like I say, if you know the songs, you'll get it, right? Otherwise, you're thinking, what the hell are those? So just play it again. So there you go. There are 2 songs. And then when I put it to Steve, and he was like, you know what, everybody, I think he was trying to make out that he knew it, but he didn't. You know, he's that kind of, yeah, I know it, but he didn't.
I felt like it was like I thought it was something like an old Smith song or something like that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I won't say the answer, but yeah.
Well, no, we're going to give him the answer only because, just so that you know, you've had about a minute to listen to one last go. Here we go. It's probably a second in total. Maybe I need to make it for 2 seconds. But anyway, for those of you that did get it, it's actually the start of an Alarm song called 68 Guns. And the second one was part of the start of a Pete Wiley Mighty Wah song called Come Back. Both around 1983, 84, but that's not the link, and this is for all the geeks that are out there. The link is that Mike Peters, who's the lead singer of The Alarm, and Pete Wiley were both in a band together in the 90s called Dead Men Walking. So there you go. If you managed to get that, well done. And, join it. Message us. Even message us to say, yeah, you did get it. Or, do you know what, Chris, it's a little bit too hard. Because next week, I'm going to do it again. And I'm just going to pick another couple. But I'm not going to give you the answer until the week after. So you'll have a week to stew on it.
Did just out of pure morbid curiosity, did Dead Man Walking have any decent hits or anything?
No. So the people in Dead Man Walking were the guy out of Spear of Destiny.
Yeah.
I can't remember what his name is. He was a blonde-haired guy. He was a singer. You had Slim Jim Phantom from Stray Cats.
Nice.
You had Mike Peters. You had Pete Wiley, and you had Captain Sensible. So they were like I guess they were like a budget supergroup.
Yeah.
So they tried, and they did it. Yeah, they went around, did a few gigs, and I think there was a little bit messed up, and they were separate ways. But this again leads me on to another idea I've got. Not quite sure it was a big idea, but I do want to speak to try and get a podcast together where I talk to bands or band members that used to be famous and what they do now.
Yeah.
Right? We touched on this a couple of weeks ago, so I want to. And because we're local lads around Liverpool, I want the likes of shout out to the likes of the Pete Wiley or Ian McNabb if they're listening, drop us a line on, get in touch with us, because we'd love to do a pod with you to find out what you're doing now, right? Everyone knows what you did in the past, right? And that's all well documented and everything else. And it must be boring for you to talk about the past, but we're going to give you the chance to talk about now. What are you doing now? Promote what you're doing now. So come on and talk to us about that. But anyway, have you got anything else to say, Steve? Otherwise, we're going to wrap it up.
No, all good. Great podcast as always. One thing to wrap it up, I always get fascinated, like old footballers who sort of get on a bit and what they're up to. I wonder if it's the same for musicians. Because you hear about footballers kind of going broke and stuff in the 80s, 70s, and they kind of rebuilt life doing something else. I wonder if it's the same for musicians. Because
this is, and you know what spurred me on this, and again I mentioned it, but I mentioned it again because this is someone else I want to shout out to, and that's Nasha from Frankie Goes to Hollywood, who's the guitarist. And like I say, they had the biggest hit in the 80s, Relax, and you think, God, the guy must be a multi-millionaire, right? And yet, I think he went broke nearly in the late 80s, early 90s, and he's now a celebrant. Yeah, what a complete career change that is. So I want to get him on because he also makes music still. So I want him to come on, talk about what he's doing now, talk about his music that he's doing now, and just why did he become a celebrant?
Yeah, love it.
So if anybody's got any big ideas, you know where we are. Get in touch. And you can get in touch with Steve on.
You can get in touch with me on social media at Steve_HastyCreative, at Concert Room UK, and going live very soon is the Content Room website, which Chris has assisted me on with some suggestions.
I only gave him a link to the AI tool. That's all I've done, everybody.
Yeah. I mean, the prompting that I put into it has been insane. I'm going to show Chris in on that.
Well, I'm going to say, I hope to look at that. Right, well, and as for me, I'm part of Funky Bear Productions. So yeah, you can check us out. Yes. Guys, it's been a scream again. See you next week.
On to the next one.
Cheers. Bye.
Brought to you by Funky Bear Productions. Follow us on our socials at Funky Bear Productions.
To get in touch, leave us a WhatsApp voice note on +44 7503 061 799. That's +44 7503 061 799. Or text us on the same number.